Hi everyone, Jack here, the Inspired Piper. Just finishing up a bowl of St. Bruno Flake in my bladder quarter-bent apple, which I love. Just recently discovered St. Bruno Flake and I truly enjoy it. It's a beautiful blend. I think I will be ordering more of that. So this video is in the category of pipe thoughts. As I've been smoking my pipes and walking around, having my coffee, whatever, things I think about. And I've been thinking about health and not particularly sure why. I'm not dealing with any medical issues right now. My wife had a little bit of a scare with a kidney stone last week, but she's all good and on the mend. But I've just been thinking about health, and what one of my doctors said to me a couple of years ago, very wisely said, health is not just the absence of disease or ailment. Health is making sure that the body, the mind, the spirit, everything is working properly, that the whole machine is optimized so that we can enjoy life. So I kind of been thinking about, many moons ago, I'm sure many of you read this book, I read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Covey, and I truly enjoyed that book. It had a huge impact on my life, and I must have read it 25, 30 years ago. And personally, I think every high school student should read that before leaving high school and going on to college and university and life. Some great advice in there. But Covey breaks it down into 4 realms, especially in the 7th habit. We're sharpening the saw, which means taking care of ourselves. And so I've been thinking of it in that perspective. The first realm, of course, is physical. We need to take care of the machine, right? That's what carries us through life. And so for me, the number one thing that I do is make sure I get sufficient sleep. It is quite unbelievable the number of doctors over the years who have told me that the number one thing you can do for your health is get enough sleep. On the other side of the coin, I keep reading articles and studies that show that North Americans specifically, I don't know about Europe, people don't get enough sleep. An adult should be getting at least 7 hours of sleep a night, and it has such an impact on your health that, to me, sleep is precious. I make sure that I go to bed early, get up early, I have a routine, and that to me is the number one thing I do for my health. Second thing, of course, is proper nutrition. Luckily, my wife also loves to cook. I love to cook. And one of the things we like telling people is we don't buy food. We buy ingredients and we make food. So we love cooking. We love the whole meal prep and the cooking and spicing it up and flavoring it. To us, that is part of the enjoyment of eating. It's not just the act of eating itself, warming something up and eating. So very lucky for that. We buy a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables and meats and what have you. And whether you're vegan or vegetarian or whatever diet you subscribe to, that's fine. It's just, I think to me, it's important to get fresh food and make it yourself. And then the third pillar of physical well-being, of course, is exercise. I'm lucky enough that I live in a beautiful location, southern Alberta in Western Canada. We have close to the Rockies, so we can go hiking, we can go for walks. It's just a beautiful environment for getting some good outdoor exercise. Plus I hit the gym about 3-4 times a week and work out with weights. So again, taking care of the machine that carries me through life is a big part of that. So that's my approach to my physical health. Supplements, vitamins too, if you're into that helps as well. Then there's the social realm, and we are social animals, at a certain level, and we love to be around other people and interact with other people. So that means to me spending time with friends and family, preparing meals for friends and family. Like nothing brings people together like a good meal, a bottle of wine, laughter, talking. Absolutely, I think, necessary to our well-being. Again, go do something else with your friends. Go hiking, volunteering in your community, whatever. Just spending time with other people, satisfies that social aspect of our humanity. Then the third realm is the mental realm. And to me, that signifies learning, like constantly learning new things. And I'll probably do an episode on that at one point, but it's almost depressing. The more I read, the more I learn, the more I realize there's just so much knowledge out there, and I'll never get to know a fraction of what I'd love to know. I'd have to live till at least 500-600 years old to even begin to scratch the surface of all the knowledge that's out there. But that makes it exciting too, right? We're all passionate about different things, and we learn different things. What I've been spending a lot of time reading about recently is all the sort of progressive social justice stuff that's been going on and how it's gotten a little out of hand. I recently read a book by Steven Pinker called Enlightenment Now, and what I loved about the book is, you know, it seems we live in dark times. If you listen to media, if you're on social media, everybody's fighting and being so verbally attacking each other, and it looks like we, you know, if you just listen to that, like, I can understand why people, like, there's so much talk about mental illness. It's insane. So I love looking into these things and looking at the data behind it. And Steven Pinker argues that, hey, we have made incredible progress in all areas of life. We're living longer, we're living healthier, we have access to better food on a daily basis. We're lifting thousands and thousands of people out of abject poverty. And so as a species, we're making incredible progress, and he backs it up with data. So very interesting read, and kind of, you know, lifts you up a little bit. You know, there's this new thing now, this new word coming out. And again, I came across it again this morning, eco-anxiety. You know, all this talk about this climate disasters and, you know, and all these demonstrations across the world. Now, don't get me wrong, don't go blasting me. I'm not a climate change denier. But as an example, here in Canada, our government is telling us we have a national climate emergency. And if we don't do anything, well, we're all going to fry and die in the next couple of years. Makes no sense to me. I'm not saying we could do better. We could, but Canada produces 1.6% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Like, even if we meet our targets and exceed them, you know, in crazy amounts, the impact is not going to be that significant on a global basis. So there's things I think we can do to help other countries that pollute, you know, with technology to reduce their emissions. You know, it's not that long ago, 100 years ago, people were heating their homes with wood and then coal, and now we're mostly electricity and natural gas. So we have gone towards cleaner fuels. So yeah, we have some work to do, but I'm kind of disappointed that the media focuses on this, you know, Greta Thunberg and all her activism and walking in the streets and carrying signs and yelling. Like, what is that doing? You know, okay, so maybe it's raising awareness, but we all know what the situation is. But the folks that don't get any media attention are the brilliant researchers and scientists and engineers who are working in our universities and our research centers to develop cleaner fuels and technologies, or at least ways of capturing those emissions and making something useful out of them. And there are plenty of examples of that. Amazingly brilliant people who are doing some incredible things. They hardly get any media attention. And to me, that's wrong. So we're creating this huge anxiety, I think, in the population, instead of looking at maybe the positive side of things and encouraging, you know, progress. And I think Canada personally is in a great position. We have some wonderfully brilliant people with innovative ideas that are developing some incredible technologies that we could then export to the rest of the world and help curb emissions. But all of this in terms is what I'm saying in terms of the mental realm is, you know, look at the data, learn, pursue these things, and don't just listen to media and social media, because that will drive you crazy, at least my opinion. And then the last realm is the spiritual realm. And so I personally don't subscribe to any religious dogma, but there are, you know, I believe there's a ghost in the machine, as the proverb says, but I think there are things you can do to address that part of our humanity. For me, it's time in nature, going for a hike, sitting by a river, just looking at the beauty of what Mother Earth offers and respecting that. Meditation or praying, if you are, you know, subscribed to a religion. So that calming the mind down or praying all comes out to the same thing. Listening to a beautiful piece of music. To me, that could be a religious or spiritual experience. And the one thing that has made a huge difference in my life in the past year or so is acknowledging and expressing gratitude. And that is unbelievable, the effect that has had. Being grateful for what I have rather than envious of what I don't have and what I want, because we always want more. Now, is my life perfect? Well, no, of course it isn't. There is sadness, but sadness does not equal depression necessarily. So being grateful on a daily basis for where I am and with who I'm with, and my dog and this community of pipe smokers out there is just that's what it's about to me. Just expressing that gratitude to me has had a huge difference on my life. And just being kind. I see so much animosity on social media, and to me it all boils down to, well, could we just be kind to each other? We're all freaking humans, right? I was just reading, I'm in the midst of studying Epictetus, the ancient Roman Stoic philosopher, and he says, why do we say he's from Corinthia, or why is he from Athens, or what have you? He says we're all civilians of the universe. We are one race, one human race, and we all have these amazing stories, and everyone is amazing. Yeah, can't we just be kind to each other and enjoy each other's differences rather than get violent over these differences? But my 2 cents. So my thoughts on health is it encompasses all of that. So the physical, take care of yourself. Social, get out there with friends and your community. Mental, learning, learning things and thinking about things. And I think that is one of the things I have seen the most as I get involved with the pipe smoking community online, is that a lot of us appreciate that time just sitting there and smoking our pipe and being alone with our thoughts. I think the world needs more of that. And not the pipe smoking if you're not into smoking, but that time alone with our thoughts and thinking about things and thinking things through. And then the spiritual realm, of course, so taking care of all of that stuff. My 2 cents on all this. So let me know what you think. If you have any other ideas, I'd love to learn what you guys do about how you address these things. Like and subscribe if you enjoy. I've got some more ideas coming up. In the meantime, let's just be kind to each other. Let's take care of each other, and happy smokes. Thanks.